Hello, hello. Sorry about that. I lost my video feed. I couldn't see myself on the screen, which wasn't cool. But now I can. Yippee, hooray. Hello and welcome to another edition of Hughes Round. I'm Graham Hughes. It is when... Oh, hang on. My voice is coming out of my laptop there. That's not good, is it? It is... What is it? It's December the 16th, 2020. It's a Wednesday, which is good, which means we just had Prime Minister's question time. I'm just going to say a quick hello to David Jacobson, who says he's just read in The Guardian that no deal likely because Britain will not budge on fish. Fish, fucking fish. Freckle Puny says, hi there, hi. Christopher Milne says, afternoon everyone, hope all is well. Well, it was well until, 1 o'clock when I went, okay, I'm going to go live. And I was like, I can't see myself on the screen. There'll just be this disembodied head talking for all eternity. I just had to double check then I actually turned my mic on. This is more complex than it looks, I swear. What we're doing today is we're going to talk a little bit about Prime Minister's Question Time to start with, because it just happened. If anyone watched it, it was great. The leader of the opposition, a guy called Keir Starmer, stood up and he said, what about this absolute cock jockey called Dominic Cummings, who was given a £40,000 pay rise after flouting lockdown regulations, something that has left a young man who strolled across the Irish Sea from Scotland to the Isle of Man, has left him in jail. He's been put in jail. After Cummings did the same thing. Also, on top of the 30,000 he owes Durham City Council, for which a woman in Wales was put in jail for owing 4,000 on her council tax, and he's had his 30,000 written off, because that's for 20 years of a building on his estate that he co-owns with his parents that you could live in, so you had to pay council tax on it. He said that he couldn't live there until he could. So he was let off for flouting the COVID regulations. This is a man who's in contempt of Parliament. This is a man we don't know what he's been doing for 3 years in the 90s when he lived in Russia. And now he's been given a £40,000 pay rise when public sector workers have not just had a pay freeze, but in real terms have seen their pay decrease. And he's given an extra 40 grand. And all the Tories and all the dickhead Brexity lot are all like, yay, Dominic Cummings, woo, I love him. He's amazing. He made Brexit happen. Oh. When I grow up, I want to marry him. £40,000. So if you actually factor in the money that he saved on not having to pay that council tax bill and the money he's been given, Dominic Cummings this year, officially from the UK taxpayer perspective, cost us more than the Prime Minister in terms of wages. Possibly not security detail. And can I just point out that Dominic Cummings, as well as being an all-out gobshite of the highest order. I mean, this guy is such a slimy little runt. He does this thing where he goes, we're gonna stick one to the elites. We're gonna stick one to the metropolitan elites. Metropolitan elites. Metropolitan elites. This is a man who grew up here in Durham, went to private school here in Durham. His parents own a vast estate right by Durham city centre, just a couple of minutes drive from the city centre. But he's not the elite. His father-in-law owns a fucking castle. Owns a castle! But he's not the elite. He's not the elite. No. And to top it all off, you never guess where he lives. Islington. You know that place that Boris Johnson keeps going on about, saying, it's all the Islington elite. Well, not only does Dominic Cummings live in Islington, Boris Johnson used to live in Islington until he moved out. And when he did live there, he lived with his wife, his second wife, I think, third, I don't know, lost count. with his children. How many? I don't know. Nobody knows. And his wife that he left for Carrie Symonds. He left her when she was being treated for cancer. And if you can find a Tory voter who can come up with excuses for that kind of behaviour, you know you're talking to someone who's a wrong 'un. You know you're not talking to someone who wants right for the world, or believes in justice, or believes in being a good person. They don't. They just want to be as horrible as possible and get stuff that other people don't get, or have the satisfaction of watching other people's lives go down the pan, which is what's happening with Brexit. So anyway, but to cut a long story short, to cut a short story long, as I often do, you have this Keir Starmer bloke stands up and says, what about this bloke, this dickhead Cummings? To which Boris Johnson stands up and starts wittering on about COVID and Europe and why won't you support us? Why won't you support us? And it's like, he's the leader of the opposition, Boris, you bungle-headed cunt. Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear on this. Sorry. If any children are watching, listening, just rewind that bit and pretend you didn't hear it. It just winds me up. Just winds me up. So we had this incredible display in Prime Minister's questions in which the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom did not address a single question that was asked to him. And I think this is up to, because we know what Boris Johnson's like and we know what his MO is, he does the same thing every single week. He's like a bad stand-up comedian who gets up every week in front of the same audience and tells the same fucking jokes. That's what he is. And the jokes get less and less funny every time he tells them. And now he is in a situation in which he is repeating the things he said in November, the things he said in October, the things he said in September, just ad nauseum. And that was the last Prime Minister's Question Time of the year. And I do think that I'm going to put the blame for this on Lindsay Hoyle, the incredibly, as far as I'm concerned, ineffective Speaker of the House, who doesn't seem to listen to what anyone's actually saying. And I think the whole point of Prime Minister questions, if you're going to have Prime Minister's questions, is that the Prime Minister has to damn well answer those questions. And if the Prime Minister refuses to answer those questions, point blank, which is what Boris Johnson does every freaking week, then Lindsay Hoyle says, oi, answer the damn question, you bungle-headed, see you next Tuesday. But whatever. Right, I'm going to jump into the messages. I'm going to go back a little bit, as you can see. Ha 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 ha. I can't put anything past you, people, lovely people, can I? David says, afternoon. Hi, David. Did anyone get a notification this has started? Not yet. He's probably finishing off his Carlsberg. Don't drink this early in the morning. This is tea. It's tea in here. You can see it's tea. It's not slightly alcoholic tea. I don't think alcohol and tea works, does it? Although, if you go to India, there's lots of places that are dry. Like it's very hard to get alcohol for religious reasons in India. And one of the more amusing things that you can do while you're there is ask for a pot of beer, and they will bring you a teapot with beer inside, and you'll pour it out like tea. So if any police officers walking past and they look in, they go, oh, look at those people in there having a nice hot cup of tea in a nice little tea set, and it's actually beer. They've actually got beer in there. But yeah, no, this is actual tea. Hello all. That's from Darren. Hello, Darren. David Jacobson said, is it just pure arrogance? The UK is also refusing to zone 6 to 12 miles from the British coastline where French and Belgian fishing boats have worked for centuries. Yes, it's just pure arrogance and stupidity. And do you know who's monitoring? I found out this yesterday, but this was actually a news story that was in one of the papers back last year. Not content with our passports, our new blue British passports being made in France, and this Land Rover Discovery thing being made in France as well by Ineos, which is supposed to be a British company. A bit like buying a British-made Dyson vacuum cleaner from that Singaporean company. You can buy a more powerful Singaporean vacuum cleaner now, great. But the monitoring, get this, the monitoring of fishing waters in the United Kingdom, well, around the United Kingdom, is going to be done by a French company. They won the tender. What can I say? Anyway, hi Graham. Robespierre said on his live stream last night that he would have had a debate with you, and he did have a chuckle about him being a Brexiteer, which is definitely not. Okay, Sean, yes, I'm up for that. I'm just get him to drop me a line. I'm pretty easy to get hold of. Send a tweet. Marilena says, hello everyone. Hello. David says, why doesn't Boris ever answer questions in PMQs? Because he is a see you next Tuesday. Johnson never answers questions. Really wish you'd be brought to task on this by the speaker. Yes, I just said that. Sounds a bit like Boris then, didn't I? Oh God, no one would watch, would they? Are like viewing figures of -3 or something if it just sat like that. And it doesn't really matter what he says. He just sounds like a little yappy dog. That's, you know, those little dogs that are like, they think they're big dogs, but they're only little. And they don't realise, and they just sit there going, yeah, 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 yeah. That's exactly what he sounds like. Just as bloody irritating as well. Yep, fish most Brits don't eat, most of which is sold to the EU. Anyway, yes, most of our fish apparently is herring, I think, as in a red herring. So yeah, we don't eat much herring in this country because you don't really get herring and chips at the chippy, although the Daily Mail is proud to announce that we won't be getting fish and chips next year because it's a damn foreign invention of foreign fish. So yeah, the British staple of fish and chips is going to be off the menu. Thank you, Brexit. Yay, and we won't be able to get any tomatoes to go with our full English. Danish bacon's going to be hard to come by. You might be able to get some nice sausages, Cumberland sausages maybe, but yeah, black pudding. Okay. Too much 77 says, I agree with Starmer. PMQs, or rather Boris, was an effing embarrassment. That's from Christopher Mill. Corruption, says David Jacobson. The IOM jet ski guy should have said he was going for an eye test. I was just testing my eyes. If I could see my girlfriend, then I'll know my eyes were working. Cummings' pay is nothing compared to the billions he's pissed up the wall as part of his projects like the UK alternative to Galileo. Yeah, that's correct, too much 77. And the money that he's given to his mates, his old school chums. And he says Cummings is a spy, OVS. Yeah, well, he's more than a spy. Like a spy just hangs around somewhere and then reports back to their masters in Moscow or wherever. Whereas he actually gets himself involved in British politics and screws things up for the country. We have now officially, dun dun dun, not only got the worst death toll in the whole of Europe, we have not only had the most impacted economy of all developed countries save that of Argentina, we have just learned that UNICEF, you know, UNICEF, if you've ever been to Africa or you've ever been to India or somewhere like that, and you go to a village, you'll often see UNICEF there, making sure that the children have enough food to keep them alive, keep them going. UNICEF, it's not a charity, or the children's division of the United Nations, which operates as a charity. So yeah, I guess it is a bit. And UNICEF, the United Nations, is going to be giving food to British children this Christmas because our government is that incompetent. The fifth richest country in the world. And there are children going hungry. There's going to be a lot more next year, by the way. Stock up on tea bags. Do you know Cummings' father-in-law called his horse Barrack? Why? Because it had a black and white coat. What a charmer. Hate them. I just hate them all. Honestly, if it was that thing of you know that test where you've got to decide whether to pull a lever because there's a runaway train or something, and if you don't pull the lever, it's going to kill one person. It's going to kill a bunch of people. But if you pull the lever, it will only kill one person, and you have to make the decision, sort of the greater good. If the big group of people were all these conservatives, I'll just leave it. I'll just go, okay, I'll have a nice hot cup of tea. Without a doubt, has increased significantly since the Tories of power, especially with Boris, couldn't be worse. Are you talking about corruption? Yeah. I can see that. If you want to know, this is Darian. If you want a multi-millionaire in Britain, it's probably easier to buy Gove or Cummings a pint than 5 lottery tickets. Yeah. Well, that was a question on one of the James O'Brien shows this year, where he was asking why would Russian mafia people be giving money like 40 grand to a Tory MP? Why 40 grand? Why that amount? Why not more? Why not less? And I came to the conclusion that because that's what pays for the tuition fees at the posh public school that the Russian wants their kids to go to, so they can infiltrate the next generation of British politicians. I mean, they've already infiltrated this one, but yeah, that's all it costs. What will be the breaking points? I don't know. I don't know about this breaking point because British people are kind of pathetic. They really are, and I'll give you an example. The Americans, God love them, probably doesn't, but let's just say that, God love them. They have quite an industrious, some might say, foolhardy attitude towards commerce and enterprise and entrepreneurship. If you think about a British entrepreneur, you think about some doddery old guy with crazy hair in his garden shed, creating the perpetual motion engine or something. Whereas you think of an American entrepreneur, you think of a billionaire. You think of someone who's made a shit ton of money in oil or photography. I mean, Kodak was one of the biggest companies in America in the 80s, or fizzy sugar drinks, or through technology. You think about Twitter, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all American companies. And I think there's something in the water here. Also, something I should say, maybe in the gene pool. Don't forget, there's a joke that I sometimes make. It's a bit off colour. You might not like it if you're from Liverpool, Gaz. But if you if you missed this bit, great. But I make a joke sometimes that people in Liverpool are the Irish who couldn't afford the passage to America, and the Australians who didn't get caught. But it's kind of true in a way. We are, as British people, we're the people who didn't get caught. We're the people who, given perhaps the opportunity to be a £5 palm and go over to Australia, New Zealand, or travel over to America on the Mayflower, we said no. We said no, we'd like to stay here and just keep everything very sensible and very pragmatic. And as a result of that, if you look at some of the more daring escapades of people trying to make money from one way or another, it's usually our American cousins who come up with these mad, actually get-rich-quick schemes that actually bloody well work because they know how to market it, they know how to sell it. And Britain's always had this problem. It's always had a problem with selling itself, or selling its products, I should say. Britain, the country of Britain, has invented a fuck ton of stuff. It's won a lot of Nobel Prizes. It's done a lot of amazing research. But being able to commoditize that, being able to be the entrepreneurs who then make all the money out of it, that's not us. It may have been Tim Burgess-Lee who actually wrote the first message on the internet, on the World Wide Web, but it was the Americans who really monetized it. It might have been J.K. Rowling or J.R.R. Tolkien or Ian Fleming writing some of the best-selling British stories of all time. It's the Americans making money out of the movies. They make the money out of it. And I think this goes to the root of British people. They're very risk-averse people in general. And this is why Brexit is just so bonkers and why it's just broken absolutely everything that we knew about this country. Because the one time we get together as a nation and say, right, let's take a punt on this, we know it's going to be an absolute freaking disaster. And so it's like, oh my God, this is the hill. This is finally it. We get together and say, let's do something completely crazy and try our luck. Let's all put everything on black. And it's like, yeah, but see this roulette wheel? It's 99% red. So the chances of you actually just even breaking even a remote, you're going to lose your shirt. But, you know, you do you, Britain. But yeah, British people, risk averse. You look at the protests in Poland right now against this new abortion ruling. I can't say law because it's not a new law. All they did was the right wing got into power in Poland. This is in a nutshell. And what they did is they stacked the equivalent of the Supreme Court with right wing nutter appointees, which they're not supposed to do. It's supposed to be non-political, but they found the little gap that they could squeeze into and say, let's exploit this little loophole in democracy. And as a result of which, they're trying to make it now so that, well, the court has ruled that Poland already had some of the most regressive abortion laws in Europe, in the whole of Europe, including Belarus and Albania. You know, I mean, like, it had the worst. And you could only get an abortion for three things. It was incest or rape, if the child had some kind of abnormality and wouldn't survive, and there was one other medical reason. You know, you couldn't have one as a choice. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to take away one of those reasons. I think it was the one about if your child if your baby has a problem and won't survive. And the excuse for this is that they want the baby to be born and live for a moment, and then they can be baptized, and then they'll go to heaven. Because we're still living in the fucking Middle Ages, right? And, you know, witches need to burn them, and there's magic, and you survive your own death, and Santa comes every year and decides who's been naughty and who's been nice. Sorry, I meant God. Same difference. Anyway, the point being that Poland has done this. Anyway, so thousands, hundreds of thousands of women in Poland have taken to the streets, quite rightly, and said, no, we're not standing for this. This is absolutely bloody ridiculous. It wasn't even a law. It wasn't even a thing that they could get through the parliament in Poland. They had to kind of this devious way of changing the law by stacking their equivalent of the Supreme Court. It's not called the Supreme Court, I don't think. And you see in France, every time there's a problem, the French farmers will blockade the roads. You see next year, the French fishermen are going to blockade the ports in Calais. We won't be able to get anything in from France. They will close down the Dover-Calais crossing. We know they're going to do this because they always do. And then eventually they kind of get their own way, or they at least get acknowledged and there's some kind of compromise. British people will go out, and we'll go out and we'll protest to a certain extent, but then to actually go that extra mile and to do something completely daring and to do something that actually gets the news agenda and everyone looking at you is a lot more difficult in Britain. It just is. And getting people on board to go, let's do this crazy shit. You know, I'm calling people up before the Farage rally on January the 31st this year. I'm calling people up saying, come and join, you know, come and help us. We're going to stink bomb the shit out of it. And no one wanted to be involved because they were like, oh, well, you know, what if we get caught? I'm like, give a shit. It's just like, we're putting fish on the ground, for Christ's sake, it'll decompose. It's not like we're actually injuring anyone. We're just making their night a bit unpleasant. But yeah, anyway, so my point is that it's the tipping point. I don't know if it'll come, but I'm very, very hopeful that it will. And the one thing that I think of when I think of like the tipping point, when will this end, is in 1990, I think, with the poll tax. We had the poll tax riots. And if they'd just been like Toxteth or Brixton or somewhere where you expect to be a riot, the government would have ignored it. But they had riots in Kent. And that put the willies up the Tory party, to say the least. And as a result, they backheeled the poll tax, which is a stupid idea. Not just a stupid idea on paper, not just a stupid idea in practice, just a stupid idea all round. I think the last monarch who tried a kind of a poll tax was Charles I of Britain, and he got his head chopped off. Let that be a warning to you. Learn history. Right, back into the messages. So yeah, I think British people, generally speaking, are a little bit risk averse, let's put it that way. Whereas look around the world, other people, they don't put up with half the amount of shit that we're prepared to put up with. On the other hand, I do think there is a point where British people go, oh my God, what the hell is going on? However, so many people have such an emotional investment in Brexit, and they've been stubbornly saying for the last 4.5 years, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. You don't know, it's going to be rubbish. And you're like, it's already rubbish. Look how much money's left the country. Look how much money in assets have been stripped from the country. 1.2 trillion pounds of assets has been moved. And we know it's been moved, and this isn't, oh, money moves all the time, Graham. No, they had to go to the High Court and ask permission to move these vast sums of money. Barclays alone moved 190 billion euros out of their bank in London and moved it to Dublin. And they had to go to the High Court to ask permission to do that because it was such a ludicrously huge sum of money. Now, 1.2 trillion pounds is more than half of the GDP of the United Kingdom. In fact, the GDP of the entire world is only about 64 trillion. Sorry, did I say billion then? I meant trillion. So 1.2 trillion, right, is over half of the British GDP, which is about 2 to 2.1 trillion. The GDP of the entire planet is around 64 to 65 trillion pounds, okay? So we're talking more than 1/64th of the GDP of the planet in assets has left. And those assets on themselves, you think, well, what were they doing? They were just sitting in the bank. Well, yes and no. We can invest money because we've got those assets. We can, the Exchequer can make money on the interest accrued from those assets. You see, there's money coming in because we've got money. You need money to make money. We have made sure, because of Brexit, that over £1 trillion has left the country. And I like to do an example of just how much $1 trillion is. So, and this is it. So, forgive me if you heard this before. If you got £1 million worth of £50 notes stacked up, okay, just one on top of each other, it would come to about 6'6", so quite a tall Brexiteer. If you had £1 billion in £50 notes, it would be twice the height of the Burj Khalifa, the highest building in the world. It would be twice the height. You wouldn't be able to see the top of it. Maybe on a clear day. Then you go, okay, well, what's the next step? $1 trillion. Now, $1 trillion is a million. It's 1,000 billion. It's an insane amount of money. I think it's more than the entire worth of the property in London, in the city of London, put together. It is just an obscene amount of money. And to give you a visualization of just how much money that is, £50 note, £50 note, £50 note, £50 note, keep that stack going. It would go past the International Space Station in height. It would actually go 5 times higher than the International Space Station. That's how much money £1 trillion is. And it's gone. And it's not coming back. And none of these Weasley Brexit knobheads has the slightest clue how we're going to get those assets back. But they're excited because they're going to make money out of it somehow. And who cares? Their kids have got EU passports so they can have the freedom and the opportunities that our children are being denied, which is nice. I think I might just dial back on the whole I can't swear on these things. I'll gauge. What's your opinion? Should I swear more or should I keep it safe in case the kids are home? I know they should be at school right now, but when the kids come back, maybe I'll not swear. But while they're not here, do you reckon I should just go blazing with both guns? Going to talk about kids and Christmas in a moment. By the way, if anyone hasn't seen, Wales has changed the lockdown rules, the COVID rules over Christmas. So instead of being able to create a bubble with 3 families, you can now only create them with 2. I suggest creating a bubble with no families. I suggest going into a cave, rolling a big rock in the front of it, and just staying there until you have the damn vaccine, which is only a few weeks away, for Christ's sake. Just wait. Just wait. Because if one extra person dies as a result of meeting up at Christmas when you didn't need to, that is one too many. And you and I both know it's going to be a lot more than that, because we are seeing over 500 deaths a day from COVID. I think it's over 600 deaths a day from COVID at the moment. And that's not going to magically go down if we all meet up over Christmas. Anyway, but yes, I'll go back to my messages here. Lovely messages. Yes, where was I? What would be the breaking point? Asks a question, goes off for 20 minutes. Speaker has to hold Johnson to account. Yes, absolutely agree with that, Ernie. Sue says, here, here. Don't know what she's saying here, here to, but I'm hoping that it's everything. David Jacobson says, mass layoffs and redundancies already happening. Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing tens of thousands of jobs going, and they're going not just because of COVID, but mainly because of Brexit. COVID is limited. It's going to be a point in the future when it doesn't exist anymore, and we don't have to worry about the damn thing. Okay? That's going to happen fairly soon, actually, in the greater scheme of things. Brexit is forever. Brexit is for the rest of the United Kingdom. Because when we do rejoin Europe, it won't be as Britain, it will be as England. Maybe England and Wales, but probably just as England, because I think Wales is going its own way. Something I read today about the boundary changes are going to see the number of Welsh MPs go down again. And with an 80-strong majority in Parliament, Boris Johnson doesn't need to listen to any Welsh MPs, not even the Welsh MPs in his own party. He can safely ignore the entire country of Wales in Westminster. And yet one of his little mewling twats who, follow him around and go, oh, Boris, you're so amazing, actually said that Wales is overrepresented in Westminster. I would like to see Wales have no representation whatsoever in Westminster, because I'd like Wales now to become an independent state, separated from these absolute bloody morons down in London. And no offence if you live in London. London's a great city. It's one of the capitals of the world, and I love it to bits. But oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The one-size-fits-all attitude of these absolute bloody morons who are running this country have run it into the ground. And after supporting Irish reunification and Welsh reunification and Scottish independence and Welsh independence, I will be pushing for the North to become independent. And we will have Northern England as a country in its own right, like Northern Macedonia and North Sudan. No, that's just Sudan, isn't it? North Korea. Well, I suppose it's the People's Republic of Korea. Okay, but the point is that we could be called Northern Britain, or just the North. How about that? And then we could have a king, and they could be the king of the North. Yes, let's bring it on. Sorry, my southern friends, you have to leave you behind, but if Cornwall wants independence, I'm willing to go down that route. At the moment, the balkanisation of the entire United Kingdom, bring it on. Because to be honest with you, when if your beloved pet was in this much pain and suffering, you would put it down. And that's what needs to happen to the UK. Actually, I say what needs to happen. That is what's going to happen to the United Kingdom, whether we like it or not. So we may as well embrace it and try and make the best of it that we can. Oh my God, I sound like a Brexiteer explaining we have to do Brexit, which we don't. And we're going to make the best of it, which we won't. Anyway, back to your messages. Oh, I'm half an hour behind. I've just been playing Let's Antagonise Brexit Nutters in the Sky News video through price increases. Excellent. Good, good, good. Whiskey and tea work well together. Oh, that's damning. Okay, I might try that tomorrow. Seriously though, the comments clinging on and raging out are painful. Yes. Yes, X, Y, X, Y, X, X, Y, yes. Too much 77. The British diplomacy is founded on the principles that our politicians are fundamental. The likes of Johnson and Cummings, it all breaks down. Yeah, too much 77, absolutely on the money there. And also this is the case all over the world, where you don't think when you are forming a constitution or democratic system, you try not to just worry about the people who are going to take the piss too much. You know, you think there will be some kind of code of honor. Reconnection successful. Thank you, OBS Studio. At least something on my laptop works. Sorry, I just lost the internet there, and I seem to have lost the chat. So I'm just going to close. I'm just going to close the chat, and then I'm going to reopen it. Just bear with me. Bear with me. And hopefully I haven't lost all your messages, because that would be really embarrassing. I'm suffering with my technology live on air. Yeah, just watching a circle going round at the moment, which is lots of fun. And let's go here. Let's see if I've got any internet. Come on, come on, come on. I do have internet, but it seems to be going up at a dial-up speed, which isn't good news really, is it? Whoa. Sorry, I'm watching this on if you can hear me, I'm seeing if I can get the picture back up. What? Hey. Right, I don't know if this is going out. I've lost all my messages. I hate technology. I think I'm being sabotaged by the... the messages have come back. Brilliant. It's one of Cummings' hacker chums messing with the tech. I bet it is Cummings. He's probably there with a little dish, isn't he? Like, you know, squatted by the side of the road with a dish, just trying to mess up my internet connection. So I've lost all my old messages, as you can see. So if you wrote something really amazing and wonderful and you really want me to read it, you're going to have to write it again, I'm afraid, because these are the messages that I can see at the moment. But thank you for hanging on there for a few moments while I lost the internet. And I hope you can still hear me and see me now. YouTube's been a bit weird today. They are blocking you out, Graham. I thought it was my PC, so I refreshed, lol. Brexit internet. He's gone for that tea and whiskey. Yeah, Daffyd, really good idea that, mate. Tea and whiskey. Only to be arrested and sent to all for 4 weeks entering the country illegally. The proclaimers must be even thinking it wasn't worth it. I think we were talking about the 500 miles there. Well, it wasn't that far, it was about 30 miles, wasn't it? On his jet ski, maybe. Sound is okay. Video is crap. Oh, God. So is the video coming through at all? Is it just really low? Saying offline on my restream. No. Let's have a look. I'm sorry if the video's like gone really, really bad quality and you can't read the messages. I'm trying to just reconnect with Restream now, which is my streaming provider. Good job that technical problems like this never happen when you're doing a live video, except when they happen when you're doing a live video. Video looks fine to me. Okay, good. Well, as long as someone's got it. Fine now. UK internet strikes again. I think it's a combination of both Sky and the fact that I'm using a repeater box to get the signal down here in the basement, and very thick walls in our house, because the house here is it's like carved out of the stone. I think it's these massive walls that we can't actually seem to get an internet signal through. Maybe Catherine just put something in the microwave, because for some fucked up reason, Bluetooth, the internet, the remote control for your Phantom drone, your phone line, Bluetooth, everything, it all works on the 4.2 megahertz, or was it just hertz, spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. Why put them all together in that little sort of bit of the radio spectrum? Please, why you spread them out a little bit? Just saying. That's why everything interferes with everything else. If you put something in the microwave, your internet goes off. I'm sure you've noticed that. I have. Right, rejoin train, back on track. Straight in. We can see and hear you. Yes. Video is still filmed with potato resolution. Well, no, it's actually filmed in high definition. It's not coming through. I'm just refreshing my dashboard. Hopefully the video will come up so I can see what you're seeing, which will be fun. Yeah, this is appalling. Oh, it looks like it's gone off again. No. Oh, no, it's coming back. It's coming back. What a useful use of a good chunk of my hour a day that I have to speak to you. No, I'm just getting a thing saying offline when I try and see what's happening. I think OBS is really, really struggling to try and get something online, but it's just not working. Oh, right. I am sorry if you can hear me, if maybe not see me very well, but if you can hear me, I'll read out what people say. Graham lives in a cave. Yes. Graham is Bin Laden. Yes. Take care. Just me and videos. I've got you in 1080p. Daffod's got me. That's good. This suggests that your microwave shielding is a bit dodgy, possibly worth replacing it. Also, look at the power line adapters for hard wiring. Yes. Are you hiding from something? Someone? Me? Yes. Switch to 5 gigahertz. Sean, I was on the 5 gigahertz and I've actually changed now to 2.4 because the 5 gigahertz kicked me off. So yeah, Russian hack, maybe. Brexiteers want to turn the UK into a hermit kingdom where billionaires can dodge taxes. Yes, Taki, that is the most succinct way of putting the whole Brexiteer thing to bed. That's what they want. They want us to live in the fucking Stone Age, and they want billionaires not to have to pay tax, because those hard-working billionaires, they earned every penny of those millions that they inherited. Don't worry about the video. We can hear you fine. That's a Malik screen. Okay. Until my mic goes off. No good explain reason. Have you put an aerial on your roof or popped 50p in the lecky meter? Yeah. That's what I need to do. Go on the roof. What was the name of the guy who fell off the roof? Was it the emu guy? Was it the emu guy? I can't remember. Someone fell off the roof trying to fix the antennae. Perfectly correct. We can see and hear you. It's okay. Hi, David. Is Cummings with you? God, no. If he was, he'll be in trouble. What about evictions? Well, people are going to get evicted, Homer. So, yeah, I'll be just talking about this at the moment. But I've completely lost my thread thanks to the bloody internet going off. Rod Hull, that's it. Rod Hull and Emu fell off a roof. Singapore on the Thames. What happened to Jason from the Three Blokes? I don't know. He went off and did his own thing. Sorry. Yeah, and also I couldn't be doing any more sort of podcast this year anyway. I tried to do some over Skype, but over Zoom, sorry, but they didn't kind of work out so well. Rod Hull, we get another Rod Hull. It was Rod Hull, he fell off the roof adjusting his aerial, so I'm not going to do that because I like not being dead at the moment. Graham is a Scouser, he doesn't have an aerial, he's got a hubcap stolen from a Manchurian. A Manchurian? You mean a Mancunian? A Manchurian would be someone from northeast China. I need to be arrested and sent to... Oh, hang on, what? Kevin Hegarty sent the same message again. I've already read that. Emu pushed him. Oh, bastard Emu. God, what's he like, eh? Rod Hull. I was getting mixed up with Keith Harris, you see, because he did Orville, didn't he? One of them children's entertainers from the 1980s. True, you need to put stolen Mercedes-Benz badge on your roof, Graham. Yes, because... Mercedes-Benz badges are basically the currency in Liverpool. It's what we use to buy things. We really don't. What we do is we use pounds, and we can take them into some of our favourite bars like the Jacaranda and the Pilgrim and say, can I have a beer for this £1, please? And they're like, yes, you can. Here you go. And you get a beer for £1 because it's Liverpool. Well, you used to be able to. It's £1.50 now. Don't at me. They want a banana republic. There. No more contact with Jason. No, I've spoken to Jason for years. He didn't want to do it anymore. So, no. People keep asking me about this. It was a long time ago. Britons have taught to associate demonstrations with middle-class lefties until that changes. Well, yeah, sugar-free. That's a really good point you made there about people associate demonstrations with left-wing loonies, which is really weird because the vast majority of the people on the big marches, the big anti-Brexit marches, were over the age of 50 and desperately middle class, and certainly not the sort of woke lefty extremist that people like Loser Fox whinge about all the frickin' time. Andrew says Brexit is the culmination of the sovereign individual plan set out by Rees-Mogg Sr. in 1997. Low tax to the rich, sod the poor, sod the country. Yeah, Andrew's right there, Andrew N. Jacob Rees-Mogg's father co-wrote a book called Blood on the Streets. Blood on the Streets. How to make money out of a crisis. Who needs Bitcoin when you can steal car badges? What's going on about stealing car? I don't think anyone ever did that, but if they did, there's a bit of a weird hobby. Stealing the badge off a car that I really wouldn't want anyway. Murdoch taught that. What? Murdoch taught how to steal badges off cars. I think that the conversation has become a bit derailed here, thanks to my shitty internet. God damn it. Okay, so back to the news agenda. So we have Wales is in the redistricting of what's it called? Constituencies are going to see the number of MPs in Parliament going down. We have seen today the Christmas Day curfew, whatever you want to call it, has been reduced in Wales from 3 families to 2 families, which I still think is too many. Airstrip 1, yes. Poll tax demonstrations changed things, but Brexit ones didn't. Yeah, but there were poll tax riots, and that's testing 1 2 3. God, I'm having a fucking day today. What you want is basically you just want to be Boris Johnson, and then you can just lie and just say, no, you can see me, you can hear me, even though you actually can't. You just say that you can, and then it works. Andrew's saying sound. I think he's just saying I am sound, as in a Scouse, you're good. David is saying no sound, which is possibly bad. Can someone let me know if it's possible to hear me again? Kevin said, sound is gone. You're not having a day, mate. I'm going back to bed after this, I swear. Can anyone hear me? Who switched? The lights are still on, thank God. I'm not getting any more messages. Messages have just stopped for some reason. And it's still saying on my live. Great. Bloody great. Let's see. So we lost all of our original messages. We started again at 41 past the hour. And now move that down. No sound on YouTube. Whiskey. No sound on YouTube. It's gone again. It's buffering. Has today's show been massively crafted to show how good Brexit will go next year? Yes. Yes, I think it will. Oh, can anyone hear me now on YouTube? I'm going to just get my YouTube up and see what I can hear. See if I can hear myself. I can't hear myself think. Yeah, Hughes round live now. Let's have a look. Yes, I can hear myself. Okay, so that's coming through. Okay, excellent. Right, lol. This is like You know when you get like someone in to fix your computer and you kind of got to sit there and go like this, waiting for them to sort it out, and it's really annoying and frustrating. I share your frustration. Just think what it must be like to be me right now. You should move elsewhere on the continent. You'd have better internet connection. Well, yeah, I should. Graham is having serious tech problems today. I am indeed. I've finished my tea in my Nescafe mug, but I finished my tea. So now I kind of want to go and just have another cup of tea and possibly a little cry because of the technical issues that we have had today. Taki says, keep up the good work. It's not exactly good today though. But in my defense, it hasn't been my fault. It's been the internet's just gone off. You amongst friends. Just write today off. Yeah, possibly. But I really wanted to talk about Prime Minister's questions. I only got to one, the Dominic Cummings one that Boris Johnson avoided. But yeah, we are now facing down the winter of our discontent. We are seeing vast numbers going to hospital and dying. If you thought that a particular given disaster was bad, if you think a plane crash is bad, that's usually about 300 people who would die in a big plane crash. We're talking 600 people dying every day, every single day. 14 plane crashes a day worth of people dying from COVID-19, and Boris Johnson's in Parliament making jokes like it's all a big wheeze, a giant, terrific public schoolboy wheeze, and it just pisses me off. It just pisses me off. Only minutes left not to hear you. Can you hear me now? Can you turn the sound off again, please? Turn the sound off again, please. You want me to turn it off? Okay. And now it's back on. Okay, good. Right, I've just turned the sound off and on again. That sometimes works. It worked in Lost to save the island. Graham, what you said today, I have to say, today's stream was world class and deny any techie problems at all. Yes. So thank you for joining me for Hugh's Round today, which was world class with no techie problems at all. The internet definitely didn't go off. There were no bits where it was completely silent and no bits where it was buffering. That just didn't happen. And if you thought it happened, what you need to do is ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. That is the most important thing going forward into the great Brexit revolution of 2021, where we are actively putting up trade barriers to trade with our biggest trading partners and turning our biggest trading partners into our biggest trading rivals. Because we're idiots. Yay. Before I go, I'm just going to say a big thank you, as I try to do each week, but I usually run out of time, to all of my Patreon supporters. It really means a lot to me that I have people who give a little bit of money every month to make these episodes possible. And with a little bit more money, I might be able to get some better tech so my internet doesn't go down halfway through a broadcast, because that'll be pretty bad. However, I do have to say, I've been doing these live shows now since the beginning of November, and I think this is the first time, I've had my sound go off a few times, but I think this is the first time that my internet actually failed. So, well, I've done 40 shows, maybe 40 shows or something. So 1 in 40. That's not bad, is it? That's not bad. But if it does it again tomorrow, I will be. I'll be having words. So before I go, I just want to say big thank you to Andrew, Thomas, Malik, Hayden, Johan, Sally, James, Elizabeth, Chris, Chubai, David, Attila, Daniel, Derek, Paul, Alex, Jarton, Alexander, Betty Biscuit, Compute Art, Andrew AB, and Darren Christian for supporting me on Patreon. If you want to support me on Patreon as well, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/thatgingerscouser. That with a H, that Ginger Scouser. And Ginger spelled the normal way. You beat Trump. He's 1 in 39. Indeed he is. Okay, this has helped the fact that my business is about to fold in January. It's good to laugh. I'm sorry to hear that, Glenn. That really, really sucks. And I know loads of people are going to suffer some incredible hardships over the next few months. If we can all band together and make sure that our voices are heard as soon as we are able to go out on the streets and demonstrate, we need to do this, because this needs to stop. it shouldn't be allowed to start, but it will. And I don't think that the real effects of Brexit have been felt yet at all, only on the periphery. But when Nissan closes in Sunderland, when Airbus move out of Wales, when the pound collapses, when there are shortages in our supermarkets, which we know are going to happen, that might be the point where people who might have not been that bothered about Brexit and just thought they were getting on with it, they might join our cause. And if we can get that critical mass, I think people say it's 3.5% of the population, we can get that critical mass out on the streets, causing trouble, nothing against the law, but causing disruption, make our voices heard, agitate for a general strike, just get these scumbags out of Parliament and into jail where they all damn well belong. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Hit the like on the way out. I almost forgot there. Prepare to demonstrate. Yes, as soon as we can, we are going to. As soon as we can do it safely. I don't want a single person contracting COVID-19 as a result of us protesting against Brexit, because that will defeat the entire object of fighting against Brexit. You know, this is it's something that is a matter of life and death. And we're not letting more people die having to fight the damn thing on our watch. That's not going to happen on our watch. So yeah, Glyn says, let's smash stuff up. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that was good. I was just giving a thumbs up for a nice, friendly message. I can read between the lines there. Okay, brilliant. Right, I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully you'll see me. Until then, hello, good evening, welcome.